Hello and welcome back. So we are moving on to question 4b, which is very similar to question 4a. It's just approaching the question from kind of the other side. In the last one, in question 4a, you were given the notated interval, and you have to work out kind of what the interval is kind of written. So perfect fourth, major third, augmented fourth, that sort of thing. Whereas this way round, you're not given the notation, you're given the written, and you have to fill in the notation. So the approach to this is very similar, and we can use our notes from last session. However, in this example, I haven't got them purposefully, so we can repeat them and we can go through the process, just like I've been going through Fat Cats Go Down and Eat Bacon with you. It would be good to have this chart memorized because it makes this question so much easier, and it's just easy marks. So first thing I'm going to do is nice and across. I'm going to go 2, 2, 3, 3, 45, which is not 40, but 4t, 5. Then we go 6, 6, 7, 7. And so, just to remember, so the way we remember that, or the way I remember it, is double of everything apart from the 45. So 4t5. The T stands for tritone. So that is the kind of the forbidden interval, which is the kind of diminished fifth. So it's one below 5 and one above fourth. It's the augmented fourth. But tritone is a common name for that interval. It's got its own special name. So above all of these, we need to label them out. So if you go up one semitone, that's second, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then you can round it off. It's sometimes good, just to make sure you've written it out correctly, is to go 12, which should be 8, because 12 semitones gives you the octave, and that will be the 8th note, the perfect octave. So just to make it even clearer what we've got here, after each of the first in the repeated ones, so the 2, 2, the 3, 3, those don't have any repeats, so we have the 6, 6, and the 7, 7, an M. So 10 semitones is a minor seventh, and 11 semitones is a major seventh. And if it's only got one of them, it means it's going to be perfect. So let's have just to make it even easier, to show you just how much detail you could add to this if you wanted, I'm going to put ST, which stands for semitones. STs. And then I'm going to put interval. I'll just put INT. Plural. There we go, just so I know which one I'm talking about. And of course, we are going to need a keyboard, poorly drawn, as we would expect. But it doesn't need to be perfect. We're not doing a art course. We're not going to be judged on this. In fact, I would kind of expect there to be some way of working this out. Of course, it's not required, but I'm fairly confident with my intervals, and if I went to do this exam, I would be drawing one of these out just because it makes life easier, and that's what we want to do. We want to make this as easy as possible. I'm going to start with the C here because I remember I was dipping down a bit too much last time. If I had time, I'd write out this over 2 octaves just so I have all the notes available. again, I'm not being judged on my art, I'm being judged on the answers I give. And if the badly drawn keyboard helps me give better answers, well, I'll happily take the poorly drawn keyboard. There we go. So starting off C there, going up to C here. Lovely. So let's have a look at our intervals. So what are we being asked for? We're being asked for a perfect fourth. And if you remember last time, I mentioned that each of these are worth 2 marks. There's not as many of them. There's only 3 questions. So 6 marks in total for question 4B. But we can approach it in the same way. So we're going to do this bit first, and then we're going to do the type. Or check the type. It's quite easy this way round. So let's just go up 4. So 1, 2, 3. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4. So on that B there, we would draw our draw another semi-breve. So let's just count that out again. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that gives us a fourth. Now we need to make it perfect. So we can count out the intervals. So F to B. So let's have a count up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. Ooh, what do we have there? We have a tritone. So that is going to be wrong. If we want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because if you think about it, F in the key, the scale of F major, would have a B flat in there. So if we have a count up to what it should be, because we want this, we want a perfect fourth, which is this one, because it's perfect. So let's count up 5 semitones. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would give us B flat. Because if it was B, then that would be a tritone or an augmented fourth, and that's not what it wants. It wants a perfect fourth. So let's have a look at this next one. So let's do this bit first. So major third, we want to go up 1, 2, 3. Again, the numbers, the really easy bit, and it's just a case of going 1, 2, 3. So that's the third part. Now we need to make sure it's major, because it might be minor, might be augmented, diminished, who knows. So what do we want? We'll do it the other way this time. So we want a major third. Well, let's go to our chart. Where is a major third? It's here. How many semitones? That's 4 semitones. So from C, we go 1, 2, 3, 4. That gives us the note E. Is this the note E? No, it's not. It's on the E line, but check the key signature. It's trying to make it flat. So we need to make sure that this is E natural. So I'm just going to put a little natural sign here, because we wouldn't want to be caught out by that. Because although just writing it on the line is fine, we have to check this key signature. Here it doesn't matter because there's no sharpening or flattening of the B line, so we put that in. And likewise, if there was a B flat there, we wouldn't have to specify here. So we need to make sure it fits within the key signature we're given. Let's have a look at this one. So we've got an augmented fourth. Augmented fourth means it's going to be we're going to write it out as a fourth. So we'll do that part first, but it's going to have to be a tritone. So let's work this out. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be the note, or it's going to be a D of some description. So how do we make that augmented? We need to probably raise it somehow. So let's have a look. A, we'll go from here, that'll be A. And we want an augmented fourth, so that's going to be 6 semitones. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That looks like D sharp. So for each of these, we've actually had to specify the actual key signature, or the sharps or flat rather, because it's not included, or it's contradicted in this case by the key signature. So we need to actually make sure we put in if it's sharp or flat. So this goes to show just how important this is. If you want to work out, say, I'll write out a few. If you wanted to work out a minor sixth above, I don't know, pick a note, Elliot. G. Nice and easy. Okay, how many semitones is that? So we're going to start off on the note G. And you could just do it from, well, actually, no, you can't do it just from here. You have to do it stage 1, stage 2, because it wants a sixth. So we'll do the sixth first. So G, A, B, C, D, E. So we want an E. And then we would go, right, we want a minor sixth. So where is that? That is M6. 8 semitones starting on G. I'm just going to extend my little drawing down. So we want to go up 8 semitones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is an E flat. So we want to make sure that we do it right, which is why it's really important. I don't just do the number first, because that will give it the right. That will just, it makes it easier, and you can kind of get those half marks straight away. That's true to a sense, but it's the logical way to do it, because, for example, it could be G to E flat. You could also look at that, instead of being a minor sixth, you could have a look at that as a let's change it over. So instead of being a minor sixth of above G, I want a where's the eraser? So here's a second question. Instead of a minor sixth, I want augmented fifth. So that means it's one above what a fifth normally is. So how do we do that? We can work out the fifth above it. So that is going to be G, A, B, C, D. So it's D, and let's work out the semitones. So that's going to be 5 plus 1, because it's going to be 1 higher than our regular one. So it's going to be 8 semitones. So we can go from G, we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which gives us E flat or D sharp, and we know it's not going to be E flat, because if it was E flat, then it would be the minor sixth, and we've already had that. That was what it was last time. So that's why it's important to do the number first, because we worked out that it's going to be D, and then it's going to be D sharp, because it's this note here. So although D sharp is the same as E flat, in terms of kind of working out if it's an augmented fourth or a minor sixth, it does make a difference. So E flat is not a augmented fifth above G. D sharp is, even though they're the same notes, which is why it's really important to do the number first. So always go, number 1 is to work out the distance. So do the number. Firstly, because that gives you half marks, which is great. But secondly, because it's required, because it might be different. If you just went, perfect fourth, augmented fifth, how many is that? That's one above that. And then you go, count that out, blah, 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 blah. Oh, that's going to be E flat, because you look at that note and you go E flat. It's not, it's D sharp. And it can really catch you out. On these exams, there is a big difference between a C natural and a B sharp. Now, you rarely come across a B sharp because it's C. But in some keys, it is a B sharp, and that's what you need to be talking about. And sometimes you're going to run into double and double sharps, double flats. So it's really important that you do the number first. And then the kind of the interval. So, of course, it's all the interval, but interval in regards to this laying out. So going up the semitones. So going, how many semitones is a perfect fourth? Oh, that is 5 semitones. How many is a major third? That is 4 semitones. And then using our kind of keyboard to work it out. And if you put D, then and you land on this note, for example, the D sharp, even though it's the same as E flat, you have to go for the D sharp. Whereas if you put G and E and then you work out that it's an E flat, you have to go for E flat. It's really important that you don't put the N harmonic. You put the right one based on the number, which is why you always start with that, because it's quite an easy job to work out. You know, what's a third? What's a fifth above this? You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That'll be a G. Because that's, firstly, it's half the marks, and secondly, you need that number, or else the second one might be wrong. If I'd put instead of B flat, A sharp, sure, technically it's the same note, but it's not going to get you the marks because it's not what it's asking for. A sharp, in terms of theory, is not the same as B flat. E flat is not the same as D sharp, and well, definitely make sure that, check the key signature, because that case it could have been wrong if I just left it without the natural sign. You've got to specify, check the key signature. So there's a lot of things to work out for this one, but it's not that hard. It's very much the same as the last one. I've kind of gone over kind of the worst case scenarios in this video, which makes it sound a bit doom or gloom. And I purposefully picked these examples because they're kind of the hardest things that can come up. You know, remembering to put in a flat, remember to correct what's in the key signature, and making sure you put the D sharp instead of E flat or anything enharmonic. Make sure you put what's right, because that's the worst that can go wrong. And it's really easy to get this one right. Just do the number first, just count it up, go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's half the marks done already, and then it's just a case of using this little kind of table here. And once again, I'm just going to go through it with you. I'd recommend trying to scribble this out once or twice. Just grab a piece of paper near you, pause the video. Right, got your paper? Just go 2, 2, 3, 3, 45, 6, 6, 7, 7. It's all doubles. So 2, 2, 3, 3, 6, 6, 7, 7, apart from the 4, T, 5, because we got that right in the middle, and 4 and 5 are always going to be perfect. And then you can put an M before all the, or after all the first ones in the group. So minor second, major second, minor third, major third, perfect fourth. The tritone, which is either an augmented fourth or a diminished fifth, perfect fifth, minor sixth, sixth, minor seventh, seventh, perfect octave. I think that's enough on intervals, although we will need them, particularly these two, the major third and the minor third, for our next question. And I'll redraw this in the next one because it will help. We don't need it because we're going to be looking at triads, but I think it helps to be able to do the semitones and work it out. So I will see you in the next video.